We live in a world that's just drowning in information. It feels like you're constantly playing catch up, right? Well, what if I told you that a specific set of skills could give you a serious edge? Let's get into it. Look, this explainer is all about cutting through that noise. We're going to focus on real, actionable skills that are designed to give you what some people call an unfair advantage. We're not just talking about little tips and tricks. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how you see your work and your life. And it starts right now. So, where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with our first section, Mastering Your Inner World. Because really, before you can have any kind of impact on the world around you, you've got to get a handle on the one that's going on inside your own head. This is the foundation of control. All right, let's break down this first idea because this one is a total game changer. We're always told to go find our motivation, right? That big rush of excitement you get for a new project. But here's the thing, motivation is an emotion. It's like an unreliable friend who just shows up whenever they feel like it and then disappears. Discipline, that's a whole different beast. That's the system. It's about showing up even when you don't feel motivated. It's doing those boring things over and over again that actually get you somewhere. It's not the spark. It's the engine that just keeps running, building momentum day after day. So what's the biggest enemy of that discipline? It's this concept right here, the monkey mind. And let's be real, our world today is a constant battlefield for your attention. Every single notification, every email, every little ping is designed to pull you away from what you're trying to do. This creates that restless, agitated feeling where your mind just jumps from one branch to the next. And that is exactly why the first real step in mastering your inner world is learning how to calm that internal chaos. It all boils down to focus. Okay, so let's keep building on this. Once you've got that internal control starting to take shape, what's next? Well, the next step is to use it to create something of real, irreplaceable value. We're moving from internal mastery to your external output. And here's the crucial distinction you have to make, the difference between being busy and being productive. So many of us spend our days stuck in shallow work, answering emails, shuffling tasks around, hopping between meetings. We feel exhausted at the end of the day, but what did we actually create? Deep work is the complete opposite. It's that state of intense, laser-focused concentration on a single important task. It's where you push your brain to its limits. It's where you do your absolute best thinking, where the big breakthroughs happen, and where you get into that amazing state of flow. So how do you actually get there? How do you do deep work? Well, it's not some kind of magic, it's a practice. And it really just breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, you have to define the task with crystal clarity. What exactly does done look like? Second, and this one is totally non-negotiable, you have to eliminate all distractions. Seriously, phone in another room, close out of all those tabs. You're signaling to your brain that it's time to focus. And third, you commit to a block of time. I'm telling you, even just 60 minutes of pure, uninterrupted focus can create more value than an entire day of distracted, shallow work. Now, creating all this incredible value is a massive piece of the puzzle, but it's not the whole story. So let's move on to our final section, amplifying your impact. This is all about taking the value you create and connecting it to the world so you can really scale your influence. And it all starts with this incredibly powerful idea from Stephen Covey. Just think about the last conversation you had. Were you really listening to what the other person was saying, or were you just waiting for your turn to talk? When you make the conscious choice to listen first, to genuinely try and understand their perspective, the whole dynamic shifts. You stop broadcasting and you start connecting. And that connection, that's where real trust is built. This next idea completely flips the whole concept of networking on its head. Most people go into it thinking, okay, what can I get from this person? But the powerful shift, the real game changer, is to ask, what can I give? How can I help them with my knowledge or my time or my connections? When you lead with generosity, you build authentic, strong relationships based on respect, not just a list of contacts you might use someday. So how do you connect and give value in the most effective way possible? Well, you use one of the most powerful tools humans have ever invented, storytelling. I mean, think about it. Facts and figures, they're cold, they're easy to forget, but a good story sticks with you. It kind of sneaks past the logical part of your brain and speaks directly to your emotions. A great story creates connection, it makes your message impossible to forget, and it builds the empathy you need to have real influence. All right, so we've been on a bit of a journey, haven't we? We went from mastering our inner world with discipline to creating real value with deep work, and finally, to amplifying our impact through connection. So now, let's talk about your first step, turning all this knowledge into actual action. Because, look, knowing all this stuff is the easy part. The hard part, the part that actually makes a difference, is doing it. So let's end with the most important question you can ask yourself right now. What is one tiny, consistent step you can take today to start building your own unfair advantage?